Hello lovelies, I'm Sarah Luhu, your beauty BFF, and today we're getting into date makeup, specifically this look right here. I'm so excited. I love date makeup, and this is specifically like dates 1 through 5-ish makeup. It's a delicate mix when you want to look as natural as possible, but also look like you've put effort in and also look completely flawless. And personally, it's probably some of my favorite makeup, so let's get started. Starting with our base products, we're using Makeup Forever foundation. This is the HD Skin Hydra Glow. It has so much skincare in it. It feels so good to wear on the skin, and wait till you see the finish of this. I just use about 2 pumps for my entire face. This is, I would say, light to medium coverage. The finish you get with this foundation is so pretty. I'm using an It Cosmetics foundation brush to apply this. This is one of their airbrush brushes. I'm not sure they make this anymore, but this is the newest version of it. The dual end, it has the concealer brush and the regular foundation brush on the other side. Love this for a liquid foundation. It's my favorite liquid foundation brush. And again, it's from It Cosmetics. I will link it below. Let's get a nice little half face so that you guys can like really see the before and after. Like, it blends so easily into the skin. It just kind of absorbs and it feels like skincare. It feels like I'm just applying skincare with a makeup brush, which is why I love this foundation so much. The shade that I'm using is 2N22. I will say the newer Makeup Forever products like this one and the new Matte Velvet Skin, I am so much lighter in their shades than I was in like the classic Makeup Forever products. For instance, their cream stick foundation, their HD Skin foundation, I am 315 and 365, like when I have a tan. That's in the 300s, and now for this I'm in the 200s, and I'm pretty sure my Matte Velvet Skin I'm in the 100s. So just make sure you actually go in store and try these on to get shade matched, because if you're gonna rely on like a shade that you wore years ago from Makeup Forever, it may not be a match. Here's our before and after. Here's the side with the foundation and the side before foundation. Like, it's just such a pretty, beautiful glow. It looks like your skin but better, which to me is what all foundation should be, your skin but better. And this one has all this hydrating goodness in it, perfect for the winter time, or just if you're a dry skin person, but also like if you just want a dewy finish, this is beautiful. Such a pretty foundation, my go-to. I'm gonna come in with a color correcting crayon next, just so that I don't have to use a ton of concealer. This is the Fair Peach Crayon from Jones Road. It is so good. For me, I don't have like a ton of dark circles under my eyes, but on the inner corner in here, it gets pretty dark, bluish purple. So I just add a little bit of that, and then we'll add a tiny bit on the outer corner. It's a small step that to me makes a pretty big difference. And then I'm just gonna take a little beauty blender and dab over it. Super blendable, like a little buttery stick. Okay, let's move on to bronzer. For this makeup look in general, I want my skin to look nice and happy and healthy and glowy. We don't want crepiness. We don't want cracking. We don't want our skin to look dry. So I'm gonna come in using pretty much all liquid and cream products like Milk Makeup's. This is one of their little bronzing sticks. I believe the shade is Baked, yeah. This is a matte bronzing stick, but it doesn't really dry down super matte. To me, it has a more of a natural finish. And they come in a ton of different shades, so it's fantastic for all kinds of different complexions. They go really deep too, and I love it. I take it and put it on the back of my hand. This helps to warm up the stick, and then I also get product on the back of my hand that I can pick up with a brush from here. But then I'm just gonna come in and add just a little dot to the cheeks, and then I'm gonna take the edge of this stick and just come down and kind of line it as a little bit of a nose contour. This is actually an angled Sephora collection foundation brush. It's super cheap, it's like $12 or $14. I'm gonna see if I can find it, I'll link it below for you. But I love this for applying cream bronzers and cream blushes, just because it's the perfect little angle to get into that cheekbone area. I'm gonna pick some up from the back of my hand, and then I'm gonna start up here. Sometimes I like to lift this to remind myself that's the pattern, like the area that I'm coming in to bronze up. and bronze it all the way into the hairline. Make sure not to come too low with it. It'll bring the face down. Just a little bit of blending gives you a nice little holiday glow. I'm also gonna take some and from the back of my hand, buff it into my top lid. Just buff these out onto the bridge of the nose. It always looks weird if you apply bronzer to your cheekbones and not your nose, because if you're going into the sun and you are bronzed up, you're going to have a tanned nose too. So make sure you're not skipping your bronzer on your nose. Picking up some more and blending that into that top lid and kind of like brushing it through the brow. Then I'm gonna take what's left and apply it to the top of the 5 head. All the high points, right? All the high points where the sun would hit is where you want to apply your bronzer. So if I was on vacation walking through like sea cliffs in Italy, the sun's beaming down on me, right? It's gonna hit the top of my forehead, it's gonna hit my brow bones, it's gonna hit my nose, it's gonna hit the top of my cheekbones. Probably gonna hit the top of your lip a little bit too. But that is where you want to add your bronzer shades. Glowy, fun, healthy, let's add some blush. The YSL liquid blush, this is shade 37. And I really love just the color of this blush. Actually, let's apply this to the back of the hand. I'm gonna put it some just into that bronzer I have. I'm coming in with a Sephora 90 Pro brush. This is a Pro Highlight 90 brush, but I love it for my liquid blushes and my cream blushes. So I'm just gonna kind of blend that into the back of my hand. And then we're gonna pop on this color right under the apples of the cheeks and bring it up just ever so slightly. This is just our application. We can come back in and blend it a little bit more later on. A little bit on the bridge of the nose, and then I always apply my blush, especially in my more natural makeup looks, to my lids. To me, it just makes the entire look gel together a bit. Now I'm gonna come back in with that same brush we used to put on our bronzer. And I'm just going to blend the perimeter area of that blush to make sure it marries really well with the bronzer we applied to. I feel like for a liquid blush, this one is a little bit more sheer. It still gives you a great color payoff, but is more user-friendly in that like you're not gonna apply a tiny drop and then end up with a fully red face. To me, this is easy to blend, it's easy to apply, and it has a beautiful undertone. We're already pretty glowy, but we're gonna take it up just a little bit. Just a little bit, just a little notch. This is Westman Atelier. This cream highlighter is so gorgeous. Like, oh, it's so pretty. The shade is called Poudre Rosé. It is my favorite cream highlighter. It's just gorgeous, and I love that it comes in this little pot, so I just pick it up directly from here. This is an e.l.f. Putty Bronzer brush. But to me, it's like the perfect little size to apply highlighter. Bring you guys in a bit. I'm just gonna add it just to the very top of that cheekbone and then a little bit through this brow bone. My under eyes are already pretty bright, but I want to kind of use just a tiny bit of concealer to kind of shape the face, highlight or non-tour, I should say, with this. This is the Shape Tape from Tarte, OG cult classic. I'm the shade Light Medium 29N in this, and I'm going to pull a little concealer brush. This is the Kevyn Aucoin dual-ended concealer brush. It has a fat end or flat end on one side and then a nice little fluffy blender on the other. I'm just gonna pick up a little bit from the flat side and we will come in here and apply it strategically. I wanna bring in that smile line a bit and then just the tiniest bit in the outer corner to lift Then I'll add just a little bit here in the center to bring that forward, and a little bit in the chin. Taking my beauty blender now and just lightly dabbing over those areas to blend them out nice and seamlessly. Let's get into some brows. This is new from Benefit. This is the Mighty Fine Brow Pen. Triple tipped brow pen. You can use it with all three tips if you go horizontally, or you can spin it and use them as like one single line. Help bring up this arch just a bit. She's pretty much a natural brow girly now, like other than filling in those little sparse areas. Setting those brows with 24-hour brow setter, also from Benefit Cosmetics, just to make sure they stay in place. If you have like long eyebrow hairs like I do, I don't have a lot of eyebrow hairs, but the ones I have, like the actual hair strands are really thick and can get wiry and crazy, so a brow setter is necessary. I'm not really going to use a ton of powder in this look because I want my skin to just look really fresh and glowy, but I do not want foundation and concealer creasing on my eyelids. So I'm just going to come in with my beauty blender, make sure any of those creases have been blended out. Coming in with the Givenchy's Prism Libre translucent powder. Oh, it's so good. And a little setting brush. This is from Real Techniques. It's fantastic. To me, this is the perfect setting powder brush because look at the size. It's the perfect size. This powder is amazing for the eye area because it's so fine. I'm picking just a tiny bit up and I'm going to pat it into my top lid. Mainly in the inner corner because that's the area that creases for me. If you have any fallout, that's fine. Just brush it away. Coming in with a Morphe M453 crease brush now. I'm gonna take this and pick up some of my bronzer directly from here. And we're just gonna use this to add just a tiny bit more of depth and dimension into our crease. It's the same shade as the bronzer we used, so it's not going to be very dramatic, but it does, as you can see, make a difference in causing just a little bit more attention to come to the eyes. If you have smaller eyelids, this may not be like a really necessary step, but for me, with all of this eyelid real estate, I kind of have to do something or else just look like blank billboards pretty much. This is gonna be the easiest date night eye makeup ever. We applied some of our bronzer to our lids, and now we're gonna come in with a Bobbi Brown Longwear Cream Shadow Sticks. This is the shade Moonstone, and when I tell you, it is so pretty. Like, so pretty. Prettiest just little like, oh, she has something on her eyes. And I'm only gonna add this right in the inner corner and kind of bring it slightly through like a quarter of the lid on both sides. Salt Bae tiny little dash of glam. You can blend this out with a brush, but these shadow sticks are so buttery. You can just get in there as long as your fingers are clean. Please make sure you have clean fingers before you touch your face. We're gonna use an eyeshadow for our liner just because it's a nice soft way to apply and it's easy to apply for I feel like anyone. This is the Little One eyeshadow palette. It's from Lawless Beauty. It's the ultimate like travel nude eyeshadow palette, I feel like, because you have a nice white if you need to highlight any areas. You have a nice deep black for lining, but today we're gonna come in with this like chocolate brown. I feel like a chocolate brown is just a nice like softened look. If you have like darker features, if you have dark brown eyes and like dark hair, then yes, you can totally go for black. But for me, who has lighter skin tone, lighter eyes, light hair, I like to come in with a brown because black can be like pretty dramatic looking on me, and we don't want to go for the drama necessarily yet. This is a Sephora collection brush. This is number 12. It's the Brows brush. I love that it has a spoolie on one end and then it has the nice angled brush on the other. And the angled brush on this is so nice and sharp that you can get a really clean line. So I'm just gonna pick up some of this chocolate brown here. I'm only gonna apply this from the center of my eye out. We're gonna create a little tiny bit of a wing, but I'm not going to start at the far inner corner because I really only wanna do like a little half lash. Again, we don't wanna bring super drama. We wanna keep this pretty natural, but at the same time, we wanna kind of deepen that lash line and make our lashes appear thicker. I'm gonna come in and almost put this on in like a dabbing motion, getting it as close to the lash line as possible. And when you get to the outer corner, you can use the shape of the brush to get you the perfect like wing line and kind of stamp it into there. If you have hooded eyes like me, this is a game changer, especially applying it while looking down. I have my little mini palette down here, so I'm looking down so that that natural hooded eyelid fold is still lifted, and then using the angle of the brush to get in there and create that little wing. From here, come in and adjust as needed. I'm going to just thicken the outer corner up a bit, but nice and soft. Nothing too crazy, nothing too dramatic. And how pretty is this chocolate brown shade? Like, it almost has a bit of like a red undertone. It's just decadent. I believe this is pronounced Sechoux. This is the lip liner stain, but I use it all over my lips because it's just so good. The shade for this is Hazel. Make sure you get the outer corners really well. You want to put it on kind of thick because if you don't, it's hard to peel off. I've learned that from experience. And our bottom. Doesn't have to be perfect, which is what's nice about this because it does give you just like a slight little stain to the lips. Oh, and it's amazing. It stays for so long. So especially for a date, I feel like this is perfect because you can go out, you can eat, you can have drinks. You don't have to worry about constantly reapplying your lipstick. You just can put a gloss on over it to keep them like nice and juicy looking, but at least you always have that color. While this dries, let's do our mascara. I'm just gonna come in and curl my lashes. And we're gonna use It Cosmetics Superhero Mascara because in this dating world, we need a superhero by our side, okay? I'm speaking from experience, unfortunately. And really get it into the lash line to make sure it's nice and thick, and then we'll bring it through the lashes. For this look, I did like that slight outer wing. I'm going to kind of bring this through my lashes and bring it towards the outer corner instead of brushing them upwards, just to give it more of a like sexy eye shape and enhance my almond shaped eyes. For the bottom, I'm only going to apply in like the outer corner, and again, bring that towards the outer corner. I like to remove this with tweezers. Oh, we almost got a top and bottom in one. I like to remove it with tweezers, as I was saying, just so I don't get any stain on my fingertips because again, it is a stain. Now, for anything I have left over on the inside, I can take a piece of tissue paper and just wipe it off, or a makeup wipe and wipe it off, and it comes off pretty easily. It is such a pretty stain. That shade Hazel is like the perfect warm nude to me. I'm obsessed with it. Now all you have to do is add a little bit of lip balm or lip gloss over top. And we're gonna come in with some NARS. I think this is actually new from them. This is the Afterglow Lip Oil in the shade Twirl. It's a really like light shade, but perfect for wearing over a lip stain. And that is our date night makeup. Who am I gonna go out with, y'all? I don't know. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I will link all of the products and brushes I used below. If you have any questions, make sure to drop them in the comments and like and subscribe for more. Love y'all.